Hey y'all, how's it going? Let's see. Today is March 31st, 2023, and I want to talk about our missing boys. Classic Insincere, Orrin and Orson West.
Why does he come up next to the door?
Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Let's start this over again. Gee whiz. It's like one of those days, you know? Oh, doggy's crying. Okay, let's get to this mess of a case we have. I want to show you um, I think first I want to tell you about this case and what all it really means to me, because this was the first case that I ever covered on YouTube. So it became very, very dear to my heart and heartbreaking. I dreamed about these boys. I cried for these boys. I got really twisted up in this case. Really heavy. Who's crying? Huh? Hush. Hush. Shh. What's wrong? Let you know. Uh, Yesterday, Penny got away again, and she was attacked by another dog. So she's been pretty miserable all day. But what I was wanting to show you here. What, baby? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm sad. Let's see. I want to go over this. And I know people have probably gone over this so much that it's ridiculous, but that's all right. I want to go over this again because this is such a telling interview. Back in the day when this happened, when these little boys were originally born and named to their birth mother, Classic and Sincere, and then they were taken from their mother, and I'm not going to get into all that. However, they were adopted by these two right here. Why somebody adopts children just to hurt them, I will never figure it out. Penny, it's okay. They're also probably a little confused because we are staying in a hotel, and they're probably a little confused about what's going on. But here we have Trezell and Jacqueline West. These adoptive parents, they have 2 children biologically, 2 foster children, and Orrin and Orson, which is what they renamed these little children.
For all the support we've seen.
What, Penny? What? You want down? Come on. You want to get down? Okay, then. Be quiet. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. Please bear with me.
We just want to thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless, and seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot. So, tell us what happened the night the kids went missing.
Okay.
From our yard.
Okay, that was the first key right there. Now, what did this interview, the interviewer ask Jacqueline, or either one of these two? Let's listen to it again.
So, tell us what happened the night the kids went missing.
Tell us what happened the night the kids went missing. And this is the response that she gives. And I remember this. This interview just ticked me off so badly. And I caught so much for this because of what I said. First off, I wanted them to take their mask off. It was COVID time. They still could have taken their mask off. They were outside. They weren't close range to anyone. It would have been safe for them to take their mask off. I wanted to see their faces. And the interviewer asked, so tell us what happened the night the boys went missing. And this is what she says.
Okay.
From our yard.
From our yard. Tell us about what happened the night the boys went missing from our yard. That makes no damn sense. None. And you hear Trezell sigh deeply. Okay, it may be a little chilly outside, and that's why he's got his arms or his hands under his armpits, which still I'm going to get to.
It was cold.
Okay. It's like, okay, action. That's exactly what I felt like he was doing, was saying action. It was cold. You know what? It wasn't that cold. Come on now.
I was gonna make a fire. It's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house.
It's not wood. It's tumbleweeds, sticks. It's not what you would build a fire with.
I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside, got our youngest.
Actually, she was actually wrapping gifts. Hi, Ava. Thank you for coming in. This is the first case I ever covered on YouTube. It's very dear to my heart. I went over this, 2 years ago when this first happened. And I lived it. I breathed it. I mean, it consumed me. And now that these two are in court, it does not give us justice. It does not give these little babies justice. They are not going to get justice until they are brought home. They need to be brought home one way or the other. These two right here, in my opinion, God forgive me, but they need to be questioned, severely questioned, about their whereabouts, the whereabouts of these boys. And I'm going to tell you in the end of this video where I think these boys are. Because I did do several readings on these boys, and I did watchman on this, and I'm going to be playing his videos, and he doesn't care as long as, he gets the credit, and it's for these children. Because there is nobody out there that lived and breathed these kids' case like A.V. Watchman did, and still does. So there's several things in this interview, if you want to call it that I'm gonna go over and nitpick this thing apart once again, like I did back in the day. These children were reported missing December 21st, 2021. And when this first happened, I said, nope, they were never at that house. They went missing in September, before these people moved. Before the move, the boys went missing in Bakersfield. Let's listen to more of these inconsistencies.
Is to go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. And keep them close.
Now, chalk, everybody was thinking was like sidewalk chalk. Turns out it was Chalk the dog. And he says he doesn't want to let these kids go to in the dirt. Now, I'm going to redo this just a little bit so we can hear what he says, just to make sure.
Outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. And keep them close.
Why can't they get in the dirt? They're little boys. And if it's cold and it's dark, why the hell are they outside? Just a question.
They was playing with chalk in one house. I came back out. I didn't see him there. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk."
I questioned her rocking, swaying back and forth. And I said, this is a way of her soothing herself. I don't see either one of them crying. I'm gonna keep going, keep my mouth shut for now.
I said, "Well, I didn't see him," so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side.
Okay, first off, I want to say did I say 2021? Because this video up here at the top says 2020. Did I miss a year? And you're welcome that I'm following this case. Maybe a year did. See, they were 3 and 4 when they went missing, or were reported missing, I'll say. And this is when COVID first came out. So if I said 2021, I misspoke. Yeah. It was 2020. At 5:45 p.m. approximately is when the call was made.
Right over there, he didn't see me. So then I came home and I told my wife.
And wait a minute. Now, if you had a 3 and 4-year-old child that was outside in the backyard, don't let them get in the dirt. That was said. And it's cold, it's dark. Why would you, what makes you think that these children are going to walk off? Children that are 3 and 4 would have followed him in the house if this story was true. 3 and 4-year-old children are not going to run off in the dark. I've raised 4 children of my own, and none of them, as brave as they were, would have done that. Why would he even get in his van to drive around? He could have walked the area. She could have got her ass, sorry, she could have got her butt up, came outside, and looked for her children. She did not. She never came outside. She never looked for her children. Never, ever, never once. Shame on you. How dare you adopt these kids and even have the gall to say that these are your children when you can't look for them? They are babies. Shame on you.
With cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there and we wanted to keep searching.
You weren't searching. You were making it look like you were searching. Little kids, you wouldn't have needed a vehicle to go look for them. If it had been 5-10 minutes or whatever, all you had to do, dude, was walk and holler for them. Even if you'd have took the dog with you, the dog would have led you to the kids. And it would have been nice if the so-called mother would have got up and helped. Grab you a flashlight. Go look for those kids. This story was crap from the very beginning.
But everybody came out in droves. And I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching. And we appreciate it.
They just didn't want you to run off.
And nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody. And that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to
And,
thank you guys.
please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops. Call California's the city police department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious. Okay. They are.
Children are rambunctious. They are hyper. Why is that in there? Never understood that. Who are you irritated with, Trezell? Yourself? Because you know your story ain't working? Or are you irritated with these kids?
They are going to be here in this area. And
They just want you to think that they would be in that area. They don't want you to look somewhere else where they could be, like a landfill.
I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved, that she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point.
I would say, no way. I would never hurt those children. They are my children. They talked about how these were their children. They named them. But I never see tears. I never hear mama say, I'm scared that they're cold and they're hungry and they need me and they're hungry and they're lost and somebody could be mean to them and I would be a freaking mess.
And we can find our babies, and guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children. And we named them, and they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys are doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of the investigation. So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys, you talked to the police all last night?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all he had to say. Wow.
Us.
What, so you guys willfully gave them your
Everything.
technology,
Yes.
the car.
Yes.
Did they get how did they get a search warrant? Did you
I
guys?
I,
Oh, no
I don't see
idea.
why they got one, but they got one. We
Yeah,
would
they
have let them
didn't
take
need one,
anything.
but
We would have told them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house though? Did they?
Oh, well, I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it to us, yeah.
Okay. So into the okay, and I guess I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put. They have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask, can we go help? They had to sit
He said
down.
nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
We
it's
need
not.
you guys here in case you have more questions.
I don't want you guys thinking
We
we
don't.
didn't try. We actually
We
looked
tried.
before we called.
We
the
looked,
police.
yes.
You didn't look. Jacqueline, you didn't look. You never came outside. So that's a bold-faced lie. And Trezell, he didn't look. He just drove around the block. And that was it. You guys could have been walking up and down the street with flashlights, hollering for those kids. I ain't falling for it. Never did. And if you watch Trezell, he's a terrible liar. When he lies, his eyes blink about 1,000 times a minute.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing? And at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I believe, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said,
5-ish.
5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search.
Okay.
It was within minutes.
I would have called while searching. But that's just me. That's just me.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
They I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay.
A lot of people are speaking of this
Should've been on
as,
your wall.
after the past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each
They're
other.
kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but we would. So during the pandemic, we weren't trying to go, out here, and so we stayed inside.
Did you guys ever go out and search?
Yes.
We did. We searched before we called the cops.
That's
That's
what
what we
Yeah.
were saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then we called. I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, one of those streets over there. I said, "Did you see some little black kids?" And
that way looking for.
I'm going to get into that comment later, but yeah.
that's the way I was gonna come. But when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take two people to go in the house and leave two kids out here by themselves? It should have been one parent going in and one parent right here watching the child, not two parents going in the house and leaving two little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard, and the
So
back
how
gate
did they
was
get
open.
out the backyard?
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood
So
from
you
this
guys
lot
have
here.
been unresponsible, left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
All right. Sorry. You guys were talking about your boys who you're, I understand. For a mother's intuition, I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just roam.
That's right. You know they're not walking around. You know they're not walking around, right, Jackie? You know they're not walking around. I heard that. I don't know if anybody else paid any attention to that when she said it. We're working towards 3 years now.
Around, these patches, they definitely, I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off of the
No.
yard before?
No,
Nope.
They've never taken off.
no.
Oh boy. That's rough. Let's see what else here. I got a lot of issues for a lot of the things that I said 3 years ago. I am gonna see about. We're gonna look at some of the stuff that is going on currently. Ooh, the lab is live. Okay. Now that they're in court, are we going to get any information from these two of, you know, where these boys are? Are they ever going to tell us where the boys are? Raw original footage from AV Watchman. Let's see what he's got. Well, if he had the gate open, why was he throwing it over the fence? Yeah, rambunctious. Man, oh man, I guess you can't see it. I'm sorry, I didn't share my screen, but maybe you could hear the audio that was just playing. Um, day one. Let's see what's going on in the courtroom. Wait just a minute. I have to share my screen so everybody can see this. I want justice for these little boys. I really do. So ready. Get this picture bigger. There we go.
Testimony, we've learned that throughout the investigation for missing Oren and Orson, investigators have found inconsistencies with their adoptive parents' stories.
Really?
Not only were they not in the van on December.
Look at this, how skinny these boys were. That bothers me. I mean, when they were with their original birth mother, they were chubby, smiley, happy little babies. And now they're sad and skinny. I don't like that.
Not only were they not in the van on December 19th, that they hadn't been in the home in California.
And he was standing up against the wall. This is the Orson, the littlest one.
California City also.
As testimony and body camera footage was played from the night the boys were reported missing, officers questioned that the boys had left through the backyard as the couple claimed.
Their bodies have never been found. Have never been found. even with the attempts of the California City Police Department, the Bakersfield Police Department, the FBI.
The prosecution also stating that the West's other children all claimed the boys were gone long before that night, and that neighbors claimed to have never seen one or both of them. But the defense attempting to poke holes in the investigation.
Their sons, Oren and Orson, are missing, and we're here because it's easier to charge them than for them to explain why they couldn't find them.
During testimony today, defense attorney Alexia Torres-Stallings questioned officers who initially reported to the 911 call. Torres-Stallings asking one officer about a firearm from the home that night that he could not recall until she showed video of it in his possession. And attorney Timothy Hennessy claiming Cal City Police believed the Wests were involved from the beginning.
And sometimes they say some things that are true, but Cal City doesn't want to hear.
Hennessy asking one officer on the stand about an interview with Jacqueline West, claiming he lied to her about the extent of the investigation, and the officer agreed, stating it was a ruse to see how she would react.
Because they can't answer where the boys went.
And that trial is set to resume Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. For 23 ABC News, I'm Veronica Morley, connecting you.
Boy. See what else we can find. Day one. Wonder. See, I missed when it started. Oh, here we go. No, did we just see that? What's this? Oh. All right. Let's see what they are saying here. I don't think I've seen this one. I wish they would show this live. I don't know why. And it can't be that they're not showing this because it's children, because they have televised court cases before that had stuff to do with kids. So they can't say that it's because, it's because of its children. Because they've showed court cases, many with children. And we have a lot of court cases coming up now. We just had Aiden Fucci's. We're having the West now. We're getting ready to have Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and Letitia Stalk. So there's a lot of trials that are coming up. And then we're going to be able to have Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Her trial's coming too. I can feel it. Let's see what they're saying here. I haven't seen this.
The couple charged with killing their two adopted sons, Oren and Orson, in 2020. The boys' bodies have never been found. 17's digital reporter Jason Katowski has been in the courtroom all week, and he joins us now with a wrap-up of week one of the trial. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening. All right, Jace, take us through what's happened so far in this trial, this day three.
Sure. On Tuesday, they actually began with opening statements. Eric Smith told the jury that Oren and Orson were killed months before they were reported missing in December 2020. He said the West's other children told authorities that Orrin and Orson hadn't been seen for weeks, that all four will be called to testify, including the eldest child, who said he witnessed Orrin turn pale and die one night when the family still lived in Bakersfield before moving to California City. Now, Trezell West is represented by attorney Timothy Hennessy, who during his opening said a thorough investigation wasn't conducted in the days after the children were reported missing. Among the things he said that police didn't do, any of the 42 registered sex offenders that were living in California City at the time, and they also didn't follow up on a tip from a woman in Texas who claimed that Orrin and Orson alive. He characterized this as still as a missing persons case. After opening statements, several police officers and civilian witnesses were called, and on Wednesday and Thursday, all day Wednesday, California City Officer Brian Hansen testified, and his testimony also took up a good part of today's hearing. He said, based on the totality of what he saw, on the night that he was called to the West's residence on December 21st, 2020, he wanted to arrest them that very night. He said in an interview played in court, he told Trezell West that Trezell's and Jacqueline's story is full of holes, and it's impossible for the boys to have disappeared in the way.
I love it. I love it. They knew that from the first day. So why didn't they question them further? Has anybody kept up with this case? Has anybody heard all the stuff that's went on with this case? If you haven't, please go to AV Watchman. He has covered this case like nobody's business. He will catch you up. He has everything that has ever happened in this case. This man, he's awesome. There's nobody that has covered Orrin and Orson's case like AV Watchman has. So if you want to catch up on this case, learn everything that you can. If you live anywhere around where this trial is taking place, and I think it is in Lancaster. I'm not sure. I can look it up. But if you can get a seat and go check it out. I know Matt from AV News Crew is he is watching the trial. He is there. I believe his wife Apple is with him covering this case because they're heavily into it too. But that's one way to get you caught up real quick is with AV Watchman and AV News Crew. This video that they're getting ready to show, because I can see it, came from the West's neighbor security camera. They didn't know they were being watched, I guess.
They said they did. He said there were no children's footprints in the dirt in the backyard where the West said the boys were playing. Dogs didn't detect the boys' scent outside the home, and surveillance footage didn't show any vehicles or people passing along the street who had taken the boys. The defense, however, pushed back on that and said Hansen overlooked numerous items in the West home, including presents that had been wrapped for Orrin and Orson and a dirty diaper that indicated the boys had been there.
Okay, Jason, what next in this case? What happens next?
Well, court took a break early today. They recessed at about 4 instead of 4:30 with Judge Charles Bremer telling the jury that the next witness to be called will include an hour-long video. We weren't told what that video will contain. We're not sure if it's another interview or surveillance footage or what, but the judge said they're going to wait until April 10th. This was scheduled far in advance to have next week off, Friday and next week off. And then they're going to come back April 10th, call that new witness, and show that video.
All right. We should mention, too, that you have all this on the website, kget.com.
Yes, check out the story. And we've been live tweeting. So you can check out all that. There's a link to the live tweets at kget.com.
As the trial progresses in real time.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Jason.
you.
I wish I could be there. I really do. I wish I could be there. I would love to see them be sentenced. I hope that they get life and never get out. These were poor little innocent children. These people were supposed to take care of them and love them. They were in it for the money. And just like Jay says all the time, it's babies for benefits. They were in it for the money. They never intended to keep these boys. They never intended to bond with them. I don't know how anybody could be with a child and not get attached. I had children and their friends would come over. They would call me mom. I would get attached to these kids, feed them all the time and talk to them and listen to them tell their stories to me. And I don't understand how people cannot get attached to children. And I don't understand how somebody could hurt them. It's beyond me. But I think there is a special place in hell for people that do this. I don't think that there's any worse crime in the world. Nothing could be worse than harming a child. Like I said, if you want to catch up on this case, because there's a lot to it, go check out AV Watchman. United We Stand. He's a friend of mine. He's a brother in Christ. He's a great man. Go check him out. And let's get these guys. I wish there was some way we could make them tell us what happened to them babies. There's a lot to this story. Just go check it out. And thanks for watching. Sorry that it had a slow start. Had a few little kinks that came up on me at the last minute. But thank you guys. Have a good evening. And I will be handling another trial. And I have not forgotten Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. We will be reading that. I have not forgotten. You guys have a great evening. And stay